Mic check. 1, 2. Good morning. It is Sunday. And I wasn't planning on doing anything this morning. But I went for a run, which is not anything special. I'm not a runner by any means yet. But I do need to start taking care of this body because I am severely out of shape. But I went for a run and had some good thoughts this morning. I like the schedule of Monday or Tuesday to Friday, but some exciting news is my partner Hannah is going to be moving in with me here at the center, and so I've been helping her with moving out, and she just graduated college. She's doing got her degree in music education, K through 12, baby. But she really likes middle schoolers because they're freaking weirdos. And so I was with her the other days this week, and I missed that. But I'm feeling good this morning, so I decided just to hop on and share some lovely thoughts with you guys. I'm drinking that gnarly tea, that the low quality one. It's not low quality, like it's technically low quality. It's just it has a purpose. It's not low quality for the sake of low quality. Excuse me. I have a little, I'm so out of shape that I have a little bit of exercise induced asthma. So I have a cough and a little bit of a wheeze. And, I realized not too long ago, but, I'm at that tipping point where my body is done developing. Well, my body specifically was done developing very early. I developed very quickly, and I stopped developing very early. I was 5'11" and like 200 pounds, or 180 pounds, 5'10", 5'11" in eighth grade. That is like 13 years old. And right now I'm 5'11", 200 pounds. Yeah, 190. I've lost a considerable amount of muscle mass. And I got that classic college looking beer gut. Though I have not drank much, if any, beer. So that's kind of disappointing. It's really not. I kind of always had it. My mom called it a Buddha belly when I was young. Mm. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. I'm at that tipping point where I can't just depend on my body being young anymore to like take care of itself. That now I really do need to put in some effort to make sure that it it keeps up with itself. With this running, I mean, like I did probably about 40% walking, 60% running, half a mile, maybe, maybe half a mile. I don't know. It's been a while since I've ran, but I know that for me, a mile feels really freaking long, and I didn't run that long, I don't think. And this poor body, just I haven't been getting its oil changed. I think that's a sexy thing, but I haven't been doing the proper upkeep for it, and it needs to go to the shop and get tuned up over these next couple of years for sure to get back to a place where it can comfortably exist and move uh, kinesthetically in a way that doesn't feel horrible. Mm, but this tea is fantastic. So the thought that I had this morning that I would like to share with you is your only task, really as a being, if you choose to accept it, is to love as openly and as freely as you possibly can. And simply that is it. Now, if you don't believe that, that's fine. Because that path will always be available for you. A path of love will always be available. And when you get to a point where life is overwhelming you, you will always have that to fall back on. Love as openly and freely as you possibly can. That's it. And so, because I have chosen to accept such a path in its simplicity, when I wake up in the morning and I take my little temp, my gauge of how open and loving am I in my awareness, there's a really simple dichotomy. Either I am in it, I'm fully there, and everything's perfect. Nothing needs to happen. Or I am not there. And if I am not there, that's also perfect, but there are certain things that I can do to make sure that I'm continuing on the journey that is the simplicity of loving as openly and freely as I possibly can. Okay. And this relationship of either I'm there and it's perfect, or I'm not there and I'm working to either get there or working to either continue to serve that space while not necessarily having the awareness that I'm there. There becomes this relationship that was stated in the Ramayana, which is a Hindu spiritual text that tells you about the story of a hero prince, God avatar incarnate Ram, who defeats the ego and evil. And within it, there is a character named Hanuman, which is the avatar of a perfect devotee, a perfect devotional being. And when inquired by Ram, when Ram asks Hanuman, "Who are you?" This is something that the teacher Ramdas brings up a bunch. Hanuman returns with, "When I know who I am you. And when I don't know who I am, I serve you." And so what's going on here is Hanuman understands the simplicity of the path of open and loving awareness. He understands that the duty is to love as openly and as freely as possible. And he is either doing that perfectly or serving a path that will lead him there. And so there are things that we can do. There are actions to be taken that hopefully will self-destruct and lead you into that space. But they are there. And one of them is this sort of method acting. And it's not an acting like you're faking it, because at a point you have to believe that it's true, even to act. And so you method act until you no longer need to act anymore and you just are it. And the amount of acting that needs to be done is only the amount of awareness that you have that you are not it. Just like an actor or an actress who is attempting to method act a character is attempting to fully become that character. And they only need to act the amount that they are aware that they're not that character. Where their agent calls them up and they call them by their name, and they have to respond because there's that slight awareness that they are still themselves and not that character. And so you're reducing the gap for which you need to act through method acting. And when it comes to open and loving awareness, what this method acting looks like is let's say a very complex situation comes up with a family member where you feel hurt. You feel wronged because someone very close to you did something that you cannot reconcile inside yourself as being good. You cannot reconcile because it is so bad that it cannot compute in you where you can have your heart open to a being that would do such a thing. Now that becomes a very complex situation. When you have all the layers of family expectation, societal expectation, dependency, whatever factors there may be, when you get into that space where there's a part of you that is wanting to close off, and there's too much stuff there that isn't allowing it. Remembering that it is as simple as opening and loving as freely as you can not only allows for love to fly free, but it allows you to free yourself as well. You do not have to be right anymore. You do not have to be loved anymore. You do not have to be anything anymore. You are just perfectly in the space where you can be, and everything is perfect. And that is your task. And I think I was talking about method acting, and I kind of lost that trip. Totally. Method acting is really just an affirmation or an actualization of faith, maybe it. That there is a certain level of trust, so much so that you don't need to be in that space to open up. Because there is an awareness that it can be, or that it has been. And so naturally you open up to it even when you're not feeling it. Another way of going about things, if you're not specifically confronted with anything that's overwhelming you, which it's hard to imagine anyone who's not being overwhelmed right now, is a certain level of probing into your being, an introspection, where you are looking for the point in which you are love. You are loving awareness. where you reach inside yourself and you poke the density of your beings to see, is this love? Is this love? Is this love? And that one's a tough one. That one's a doozy. Because it's kind of like asking the question, what isn't God? Or what is God? What isn't God is a more direct question. Because the only answer that you really come back with when you probe in yourself in that way is, I really can't tell. There's either a such strong knowing that everything falls away and you no longer need to probe because you are it, you found it, or you continue to probe and you continue to say, I can't tell, I can't tell, I can't tell. And perhaps you do it so long and to the point where you give up. And it is through that giving up that you enter into that space. And so the method of probing within yourself to see where you are love, that can be a difficult one if you do not think that you have the awareness of that experience. Now, it's fine if that doesn't make any sense. Sometimes while listening to myself, I give up my prerogative as a listener for understanding what I'm talking about. And I find that when I'm in that space, when I don't care about knowing what I'm talking about anymore, is when I can hit certain truths that don't have words to speak about them. I guess there's another side of probing where you can probe and say that this is love. This is loving awareness. Where you can move inside your breath and you can feel how wonderful it is to breathe, to be able to experience breath. And you can understand that it is love. Or you can move into your pain and understand that that pain is love and feel the beauty of the experience of pain. Just the fact that it's being experienced. And so the other side of this probing, I guess, looks to me like loving awareness meditation, where you're doing a practice of you're shoveling love out from you, out from the coal pit of love and into the furnace on various different levels of strangers, family members, people that you hate, experiences that you love, hate. All those things, you're shoveling love into it. And you can notice as you do this practice more and more and more and more and more, that your coal pile of love never seems to run out. And not only does it not seem to run out, it seems to get bigger every single time. And you find that you open your heart to people and you don't get hurt. And one of the fears that we have seemingly as a sort of mass hysteria, is that if we open our hearts to each other, we will eventually get hurt. And so you have to curate the people that you open your heart to make it so that you're only opening your heart to the people that it is worth them hurting you for. And it's commonly family members, loved ones, very close friends. But as you move into loving awareness, you understand that the ability for your being to be hurt is dependent upon how much love you're willing to shell out. That the hurt does not come from giving out love and it not being reciprocated, but the hurt comes from a closing of your own hand, a denial of yourself from giving love and thus receiving love, a closing off of that openness. Damn, this tea is good. This tea is good. And I think it was Christ who said it, or one of his followers who relayed it. That if you want love, you have to have an open hand. You can only receive what you give. That if you want to hug, you have to open your arms. If you want a hand to hold, you have to open your hand. And in the case of loving awareness, a fantastic thing about it is that it only takes one. There is no agreement required for love to take place within a being. That if we imagine all the beings around us to be nodes of love, where there is ability for them to connect to each other and the world around them, that love is so powerful and so all-pervasive and unending that it does not require of any of those nodes an agreement to come out or go in. Which is paradoxical and exactly the opposite, almost, of what I just said. But I think what I was talking about with what Christ was talking about is the experience of being love. And when I talk about the nodes, I'm talking more about the qualities of love. And not being a being that is experiencing love. Because at a certain level, you don't have a choice. You are here, you are a part of it. And you can either get over yourself and be with it, or you can continue to live within yourself and feel separate from it. But at a certain level, you are it. You are a part of the universe. And that is enough. Simple, right? Did I do it? This tea is good. Okay, so I thought that would be a lot quicker. Not necessarily thought it would be a lot quicker, but I knew that it would be relatively quick of what I wanted to talk. So let's take a moment of silence here. Open our hearts to the rest of the day. Alrighty. I'll send you off with a reminder that I started with. If you ever get overwhelmed, you can always go to the path of love. To remember that your task is only to love as openly and as freely as possible. And if you can do that, it simplifies life considerably. Peace out.